from microbes and other harmful particles. Transport of enzymes and hormones. Blood transports the enzymes and hormones from the site of their production to the site of their action. Thermoregulation. Body temperature is maintained constant at 37 degrees Celsius by vasodilation, that is widening of blood vessels, and vasoconstriction, that is narrowing of blood vessels. Blood maintains the balance of minerals like sodium and potassium in the body. If bleeding occurs at the site of injury, platelets and a protein called fibrinogen of the blood form a clot and seal the injury. Now, after this detailed study about the composition of blood, can you tell whether all humans have the same type of blood? No. Though the composition of blood is same in all human beings, every individual does not have the same type of blood. Blood is classified into different types called blood groups. Come, let us learn about blood groups in detail and its importance with respect to blood transfusion. Human blood groups. Depending upon the proteins like antigens and antibodies, different blood groups are formed. There are four main groups of human blood: A, B, AB, and O. Besides, there are Rh positive and Rh negative of each of these four groups. Thus, in all, human beings have 8 types of blood groups. Blood groups are hereditary and depend upon the genes inherited from parents. Good to know. A, B, and O blood groups were discovered by Karl Landsteiner in 1900. He won the Nobel Prize in 1930 for this discovery. Blood group AB was discovered by Alfred von de Castillo and Adriano Sturley in 1902. When a person meets with a major accident, the person might suffer with heavy blood loss, which may prove to be fatal. To compensate this blood shortage in body, doctors immediately transfuse blood in the body. From where do the doctors get this blood for transfusion? Come, let us find it out. Blood donation. To save the life of a patient in conditions like accidents, parturition, anemia, thalassemia, cancer, surgical operations, etc., doctors transfuse blood into the body of the patient. For this, the blood which is collected in blood banks by specific method from a healthy person is supplied to these needful people. The person who donates the blood is referred as blood donor, and the person who receives the blood is referred as recipient. If the collected blood is not to be used immediately, it can be stored for some days in refrigerator. The blood obtained from the blood bank is transfused into the body of the receiver only after matching the blood groups of the donor and the receiver. If blood transfusion is done without matching, it may prove to be fatal for the patient. Person of the blood group O can donate blood to a person having 10A blood group, whereas the person with AB blood group can receive blood from a person with 10A blood group. Hence, person of blood group O is called universal donor, and the person with blood group AB is called universal recipient. Blood donation without any expectation is always life-saving. Blood donated by healthy person is used to save the life of needful person. Hence, blood donation is considered as the best donation. Always remember, blood production occurs continuously in our bodies. About 350 milliliter of blood is collected from a person during donation, and our bodies restore the fluid part of it within 24 hours. Pregnant and breastfeeding women cannot donate blood. There is no trouble during or after blood donation. Healthy person of age more than 18 years can donate blood for 3 to 4 times a year. 1st October is observed as National Voluntary Blood Donation Day. Come, let us now move on to study about the next component of the circulatory system, that is, blood vessels. Blood vessels. Arteries, veins, and capillaries are blood vessels which continuously circulate blood throughout the body. Let us study about this transport network one by one. Arteries. Blood vessels which carry the blood away from the heart are called arteries. Except the one carrying blood towards the lungs, all arteries carry oxygenated blood. These vessels are deeply situated in the body and have a narrow lumen. As the blood flow in the arteries is rapid and under pressure, they have thick elastic wall. These vessels do not have valves. Capillaries. Arteries gradually branch out with decrease in their diameter as they spread in the body and form fine hair-like vessels called capillaries. Walls of capillaries are extremely thin and made up of single layer of cells. Due to this, exchange of materials between capillaries and cells becomes easy. During this exchange, oxygen, nutrients, hormones, vitamins, etc. are sent towards the cells, and waste materials of the cells move into the blood. Capillaries unite together to form the vessels of more diameter called veins. This network of capillaries is present in each organ. Veins. Vessels carrying the blood towards the heart from various parts of body are called veins. All veins, except the one carrying blood from lungs, transport deoxygenated blood. Most of the veins are superficially situated in the body, just beneath the skin. These blood vessels have a thin muscular wall and a wide lumen. As the blood flow in veins is smooth and under low pressure, they have a thin muscular wall as compared to the arteries. Valves are present in veins to prevent backward flow of blood. Now let us study about the pumping organ of the body and the most important component of the circulatory system, that is, the heart. Heart. Heart is present almost at center in thoracic cage. It is present behind the ribs, between the two lungs, and is slightly inclined on the left side. Size of our heart is equal to one's own fist and weighs about 360 grams. It is covered by a double-layered peritoneal membrane. A fluid is present between the two membranes, due to which heart is protected from friction and mechanical shocks. Human heart is a muscular organ. It is made up of involuntary cardiac muscles. These muscles contract and relax with a definite rhythm. This is called beating of heart. Internally, heart is divided into left and right compartments by a vertical partition. Each of these components are further divided into two chambers. Thus, in all, human heart consists of 4 chambers. Upper chambers are called atria, singular, atrium. and lower chambers are called ventricles. We all know that heart is called the blood pumping organ. Come, let us study about circulation of blood that occurs inside the heart. The process of pumping blood towards various parts of the body and bringing it back towards the heart is called blood circulation. So as to maintain the continuity in circulation, heart alternately contracts and relaxes. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from different parts of the body through superior and inferior vena cava. This deoxygenated blood is pumped into the right ventricle. The opening between the right atrium and the right ventricle is guarded by a tricuspid valve. This valve separates the two chambers, thereby avoiding mixing of blood. It also allows the deoxygenated blood to flow only in one direction. From the upper part of the right ventricle, the pulmonary artery arises. This pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood to the lungs. The left atrium has 4 openings of pulmonary veins. The oxygenated blood from the lungs is brought into the left atrium through the pulmonary veins. This oxygenated blood is pumped into the left ventricle from the left atrium. The opening between the left atrium and the left ventricle is guarded by mitral valve, also known as bicuspid valve. A main artery, or the aorta, arises from the upper inner part of the left ventricle. Aorta carries oxygenated blood which is distributed to all parts of our bodies. This continuous flow of blood throughout the heart is possible due to continuous contraction and relaxation of cardiac muscles present in the heart. Consecutive single contraction and relaxation of heart constitutes a single heartbeat. You might have definitely heard your heartbeat. Come, let's hear it again. Amazing, isn't it? Come, let's perform an interesting activity related to it. Activity. The materials required to perform this activity are a funnel, 2 feet long rubber tube with small aperture, and a stopwatch. Let us now begin with the activity. Take the funnel and fit the rubber tube at its narrow stem. Now keep the wide mouth of the funnel on the left side of your chest and bring the other end of the rubber tube near to your ear and hear the sound. You can hear your heartbeats. Listen to the heartbeats carefully and record the number of heartbeats heard per minute using a stopwatch. Heartbeats can be easily heard through an instrument called stethoscope. Every time the heart beats, blood is forced into the arteries. The expansion of an artery each time the blood is forced into it constitutes a pulse. Each heartbeat generates 1 pulse in the arteries. Hence, the pulse rate of a person is equal to the number of heartbeats per minute. Arteries are generally situated deep inside the skin and hence cannot be used to feel the pulse. However, at some places in our bodies, such as the wrist, behind the ears, and near the heel of the foot, arteries are situated close to the skin surface. Therefore, we can feel the pulse at these places by pressing the artery lightly with our fingertips. In history, in 1628, William Harvey described the mechanism of blood circulation in the body. He proposed a theory that our heart is a muscular pump by which blood is circulated in the body. He also discovered the working mechanism of valves in the heart. Do you know? 1. In case of a healthy person, the heart beats 72 times per minute. Rate of heartbeat increases due to physical exercise and emotions. Similarly, it has been observed that it decreases during rest and sleep. Number of heartbeats is more in case of infants. 2. Two types of sounds are heard during heartbeat. One is described as lup and other as dup. 3. Heart pumps about 75 milliliter of blood during each heartbeat. Yesterday, when I was sitting with my dad in the clinic, I heard the doctor saying to a patient that the patient was suffering from high blood pressure. I knew what is blood, but wondered, what is blood pressure? Do you know about it? We will get answer to this question in this last part of this chapter. Blood pressure. Blood is continuously kept flowing through blood vessels due to contraction and relaxation of heart. Due to contraction of the heart, pressure is exerted on the wall of arteries, and this is called blood pressure. Proper blood pressure is necessary to supply blood in all parts of the body. Pressure recorded during the contraction of heart is called systolic pressure, and that one recorded during relaxation is called diastolic pressure. When systolic pressure is between 90 to 119 millimeter of mercury and diastolic pressure is between 60 to 79 millimeter of mercury, blood pressure is considered to be normal. Blood pressure of a healthy person is about 120 by 80 to 139 by 89 millimeter of mercury. Blood pressure is measured with the help of an instrument called sphygmomanometer. When the blood pressure of a person is above the normal range, we can say that the person is suffering from high blood pressure or hypertension. Come, let us know about this clinical condition in brief. Hypertension. High blood pressure than the normal is referred as hypertension. In arteries of the person with hypertension, unnecessary tension develops. In such condition, the heart needs to perform more than in normal condition. Both systolic and diastolic pressure are high in hypertension. When the systolic pressure is between 120 to 139 millimeter of mercury and the diastolic pressure is between 80 to 89 millimeter of mercury, then this type of hypertension is called primary hypertension. When the systolic pressure is between 140 to 159 millimeter of mercury and the diastolic pressure is between 90 to 99 millimeter of mercury, then such type of hypertension is called hypertension stage 1. And when the systolic pressure measures more than 160 millimeter of mercury and the diastolic pressure measures more than 100 millimeter of mercury, then it is called hypertension stage 2. Do you know? The branch of medical science that deals with the study of blood, hematopoietic organs, that is the organs which produce constituents of blood like bone marrow and blood diseases, is called hematology. Research of diagnosis and remedies of blood diseases is also performed in this branch.